that Russia has been involved, China has been involved to some degree, and now we learn that Iran is involved.
Joe got $3.5 million from Russia, and it came through Putin because he was very friendly with the former mayor of Moscow, and it was the mayor of Moscow's wife, and you got $3.5 million. There has been nobody tougher on Russia than Donald Trump.
We learned that this president paid 50 times the tax in China, has a secret bank account with China, does business in China, and in fact is talking about me taking money. You have not released a single solitary year of your tax return. What are you hiding?
I asked them a week ago, I said, what did I pay? They said, sir, you prepaid tens of millions of dollars. I prepaid my tax.
When last time he said what he paid, he said, I only pay that little because I'm smart.
I was put through a phony witch hunt.
The only guy who made money from China is this guy.
Children are brought here by coyotes and lots of bad people, cartels. We now have as strong a border as we've ever had. We're over 400 miles of brand new wall. And it was a picture of these horrible cages, and they said, look at these cages. President Trump built them. And then it was determined they were built in 2014. That was him.
They separated them at the border to make it a disincentive to come to begin with. They, real tough, we're really strong. And guess what? They cannot, it's not coyotes didn't bring them over, their parents were with them.
They built the cages. Who built the cages, Joe?
Let's talk about what
Who built the cages,
Joe? Let's
Joe?
talk about what we're talking about.
He did nothing except build cages to keep children in.
There is institutional racism in America. And we have always said, we've never lived up to it, that we hold these truths to be self-evident. All men and women are created equal. But guess what? We have never, ever lived up to it. But we've always constantly been moving the needle further and further to inclusion.
Nobody has done more for the black community than Donald Trump. With the exception of Abraham Lincoln, possible exception, but the exception of Abraham Lincoln. We have the Trillion Trees program. We have so many different programs. I do love the environment, but what I want is the cleanest, crystal clear water, the cleanest air. Look at China, how filthy it is. Look at Russia. Look at India. It's filthy. The air is filthy.
Change, climate warming, global warming is an existential threat to humanity.
When he says buildings, they want to take buildings down because I want to make bigger windows into smaller windows. As far as they're concerned, if you had no window, it would be a lovely thing. And what about fracking?
All right, let me allow
fracking.
Vice President Biden to respond.
I never said I oppose fracking.
You said it on tape.
I did show the tape. Put it on your website.
I'll put it on.
Put it on the website.
If he gets in, you will have a depression the likes of which you've never seen. Your 401ks will go to hell, and it'll be a very, very sad day for this country.
You know who I am. You know who he is. You know his character. You know my character. You know our reputation is for honor and telling the truth. I am anxious to have this race. I am anxious to see this take place. The character of the country is on the ballot. Our character is on the ballot. Look at us closely.